Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review for The Walking Dead Comics issue 186. So let's talk about this one. This one was damn good. I'm very salty, and I'm very salty that they killed off the most interesting character in the series right now, and yet at the same time, it was a really cool and really compelling story that this issue told. So I'm gonna go ahead and spoil that I'm giving it a perfect score. I loved this issue. It's one of those things where when they kill off a character you like, I mean, I don't know, you shouldn't really hate the story for it if it tells a good story. But, yeah, let's talk about it part by part. Let's go through it and then give some general thoughts as we're doing it. Starting at the beginning, I thought the cover was good. It was symbolic. I kind of called it in the live reaction. And if you haven't seen that yet, I do live reactions every month, so you can go check that out on the channel. I probably posted it just a couple days ago. When the issue came out. But it's a good symbolic cover. I kind of called it where it's kind of Rick sheltering the Commonwealth from Dwight, even though those didn't look like Dwight's hands. But either way. Then at the beginning, really quick for one page, this kind of seems a little out of place in hindsight. But Sophia meets Joshua. We know that, of course, she's looking for somebody to bang. That sounds so weird. Isn't she like 11? No, she can't be that young, but still, way too young to think about all of this. It's weird. And Joshua was Whisperer Boy, so we'll see what happens there. We have a cute Eugene and Stephanie scene for a couple pages. I think it was 2 pages. I really like this, actually. I actually have come to like Eugene and Stephanie as a couple a lot, even though their whole ordeal could have fucked up a lot of things, since they were both breaking the rules and keeping secrets. I actually like that, or I actually have come to really like their relationship. We haven't really got to see Princess and Mercer anymore, but I like them. It was a cute moment between them. Then we have Laura after Dwight leaves the jail. Laura being the voice of reason, and again I keep saying it, I said it in the live reaction, Laura is the voice of reason very often. But Dwight does have a point. She's like, we should take our time, take it slow, and he's like, well, I'm sorry, but people dying in the streets kinda speeds up my timeline. And I get where he's coming from there. He's kind of right. People are legitimately dying because of the way this place runs. So yeah, he's actually kind of right. It doesn't seem like it at first, but then I thought about it and I was like, yeah, actually, yeah, that would speed things up. There are people losing their lives. And he also said it'd be cool if he died. He wants to die for a reason, and oh boy did he. But we'll get to that. So Rick just stools to Michonne, tells Michonne everything that Dwight had said. I get that they're best friends, but stool pigeon Rick. Michonne being a sellout bitch. Michonne is a sellout. I didn't know how to articulate my words for it, and then Dwight says that she's a sellout later on, or she sells out her people or friends. Then, yeah, totally think that is the word for it. Michonne is a sellout. And then Elodie's friends notice that she's an ass too. How both of them have just said, oh, nice shiny apartment. Let me give up on everybody I once knew. Let me give up on my morals and things that are right or wrong, because we get a nice apartment. So, yeah, Michonne and Elodie kind of fucked up what they're doing. I'm kind of on Rick's team here with the not forgiving her thing, but we'll get to that, and I think Rick eventually will forgive her, but we'll get to that eventually. So Magna, back at Alexandria, is prepping the army just in case. And this seems set up for them to find out that Dwight died, and Dwight mentioned before when he said he wanted to take over for Rick that the army and the people would probably side or possibly side with him over Rick, and him dying at the hands of Rick, we don't know if this is going to cause mutiny within Alexandria. And of course some people are going to be totally loyal to Rick, like Carl obviously. And Maggie, possibly. But I think a lot of people are going to maybe side with what happened to Dwight here and take Dwight's case into account. So Rick is going to have some choices to make and some shit to try to settle down, because it seems like they're ramping up towards war. And it's a cool story where instead of trying to go to war, the story is going to be about trying to not go to war, trying to stop war. Which I think is a cool twist on things. Like I said, I didn't want it to be another war situation, but this is a good twist on that. So it isn't really another war situation. Now we have this fucked up scene with Pamela going out hunting to look like she's doing something. And that was the point at where I was like, okay, fuck these people running Commonwealth. That is like, that's the straw that broke the camel's back, where before I was like, okay, they're not good, but we can work this out. Okay, they're not good, but we can work this out. To the point where now it's like, oh no, Mercer's in on it. They need to take over. They don't need to be violent to take over. They don't need a war to take over. They just need to say, hey, we're in charge now. These people aren't. And honestly, the soldiers would probably side with Mercer and them. We know the people probably would too. So it doesn't even need to be a war, necessarily. But then Dwight kind of knows that this whole thing is Negan-like. We can see it when Mercer is explaining things to him and Rick. And he's kind of right. We get this conversation between the three of them, and Dwight calls Michonne out on being a sellout, and she totally is. Because she stools on them. She stools on them right then to Pamela, who's been listening in with soldiers, who go in to arrest Dwight. And Dwight, again, is very emotional. He thinks he has to do what he's doing because he sees that this is so Negan-like, and I love the tears running down his face from the one eye that can't close all the way, where he is having these genuinely a kind of traumatic experience where this is totally what it was like under Negan, and nobody's willing to do anything about it. So he's getting super emotional about it. And Rick just kills him, just kills the guy. So they kill the most interesting and compelling character in the series right now, but it was a good death because he's totally dying a martyr. But I'm with Rick here. Afterward, Rick is like telling Michonne he's never going to forgive her, and he is eventually, but I'm totally with him right now. Screw Michonne. She sold him out. She thinks it was okay that he died. She thinks it's okay that all these people are dying so she can live in a nice apartment. Michonne's really fucked up right now. Like, I don't know if I can forgive the character. She maybe has gone too far for me. But, yeah, Michonne, total sellout. And Dwight's also totally going to be a martyr. It's going to set up the people who saw him on the street and were kind of taking his side are going to be like, oh, Pamela had that guy killed, or he killed alone, or not really alone, but he died in a room with Pamela and the other leaders like that. That's going to set off people in Commonwealth, and it's really going to set off the army. I don't know how much it'll set off Laura, or how level-headed she'll be, because she's usually pretty level-headed, or how set off Magna will be, because it seemed like Magna bonded with Dwight a bit. So we have no idea what this is going to cause. Probably a lot of people are going to want to go to war, and it's going to be up to characters like Rick to stop it, because another big thing with Rick is that Michonne took away his choice. Michonne forced his hand with what he had to do to Dwight to try to keep the peace for the moment. So he had to kill somebody who had been loyal, who had been basically his top guy, who had done so much for Alexandria and the other communities. He had to kill someone who had done so much because Michonne forced his hand to try to keep them from going to war again. And now the war might happen anyway, and Michonne has forced him into a spot where he's alienated from his own people. So Michonne has just fucked up so much stuff for an apartment, for being a sellout. So, yeah, man, Michonne has gone so far in just screwing things up. And I think a big part of it is that people died because of it. Not only Dwight, but other people have died. And Michonne's like, it's cool as long as we can keep the peace. And of course, over time, we will have some change. Because everybody's like, it's easy to say, you know, if we try to change things right now, if we try to take over, how many people will die? But a lot of time what they don't take into account is if we sit around and do nothing and say, in however many years we'll slowly change it over time, what's going to be the death toll as it slowly changes over time? What's going to be the toll on people as it changes over time? So, yeah, pretty screwy. And also, what is great is it was an exciting issue. It was unexpected. I didn't see any of this coming. I was not expecting Dwight to die here, and it's a huge turning point for the series. Not only because a big, pretty main-ish character died, but it's going to set into motion this new arc of a possible future war, and it could even lead, we know something big's got to happen in issue 200, this could even be leading to Rick dying trying to stop the war, or Michonne dying because of the choices she's made. and the character arc she's taken of trying to reclaim a past that isn't there anymore. So if that happens, I wonder though, Michonne isn't fit to lead at this point, but if Rick dies, who leads at this point? Is it Carl? Do people band behind him? Is it Maggie? Is Maggie even going to want to? Or is Maggie going to even be the best choice? Or is it going to be Magnus? She's leading the army right now. She's in charge of Alexandria for the moment. So, yeah, I'd give it 10 meaningful deaths out of 10, because this death sets up so much for the future and could totally change the series. Dwight dying here is a real game changer because he's going to be such a martyr. So this was a very, very good issue. It was amazing even. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like if you did like the video. And I hope you enjoyed the issue too. Comment down there. Tell me what your thoughts on the issue were, or what your thoughts on my thoughts are. Subscribe for more. The Walking Dead. I've got live reactions and reviews every single month for the new issues. But in addition to that, I have a discussion going up for the first half of the TV show. And if you want me to review the TV show weekly, I don't know what kind of days I would do that on, but when it comes back, I could potentially do that if there's enough interest in it. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel, or I can talk to you there. Or if you want a link to our Discord server to talk to me or more of us on Discord about this or anything else, you can just ask and I'll give you a link. It's free and open for anyone. So that's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.